Game's almost over. Let's do this Warthog run.
We thought.
Analyze.
Alright. Hey everybody, I'm a frog.
Hey Frog, when's the LASO video?
I'm doing it right now. Yes, I've read your many comments, live chats, and even text chats sent in matchmaking games asking me when I'm doing a LASO video. Because I'm a man of the people and want more channel members, that's what I'm doing here today. If you don't know what LASO is, it's legendary all skulls on. What these skulls are, we'll go through here in a second. For this video, I played through the LASO playlist on MCC, the one that gives you an achievement for completing. And I died a lot. And it wasn't particularly fun. So let's hop in. Right off the bat, you'll notice that I don't have a motion tracker. This is because it's disabled by the fog skull. But hey, not having a radar isn't that big of a deal. Half the people who play this game never even look at it anyway. After getting the Magnum, I had to start shooting grunts, which is a bit harder because of the eye patch skull that disables aim assist. I only had to shoot one grunt though, because the grunt funeral skull makes it so grunts explode when they die. Combined with the boom skull that doubles the blast radius of all explosions, this means grunts are very dangerous when they die. You may also notice that I don't have a reticle. That's because of the malfunction skull that randomly disables one part of your HUD. This time it happened to be the reticle. For the cafe, I did the usual speedrun tactic of running past the enemies, trying not to kill any grunts though, because that would definitely kill me. My shields aren't recharging until I backsmack an elite. The black eye skull makes it so your shields only recharge by meleeing enemies, but when you do melee an enemy, they immediately go back to full, so that can help a bit. You can walk here just right so that the grunt doesn't shoot you. I had to fight the urge to kill the grunt there. The basic strategy for this level is just shoot grunts and run away. Usually at this point in the level, I would want to have a plasma pistol, but there's the foreign skull that prevents you from picking up plasma weapons or plasma grenades, combined with the famine skull that causes drop weapons to have half the ammo they would normally have, plus the recession skull that makes it so you fire 2 rounds with every shot. Ammo is a problem. And it's also worth mentioning that enemies have twice as much health from the mythic skull, so landing a quick headshot on one of the grunts and not body shots is important. And I'm sure you noticed, but anytime I headshot a grunt, they yell yay. On anniversary graphics, you'd also see confetti, but I don't play on anniversary because it's awful. Headshotting grunts without a reticle or aim assist was not fun, and here it cost me my first death. No biggie though, I'll just revert checkpoint. Oh wait, I'm back to the start of the mission. That's because of the Iron Skull. On co-op, this makes it so if only one person dies, you revert to the previous checkpoint. In solo, this makes it so that if you die, you restart the entire mission. Yeah, it sucks. Okay, try 2, I made it through the hallway. I can pick up overshields and keep on going. The stair room I ran past. A Marine hit me with a grenade for some reason. Using the grunts as walking nukes tactic, the next 2 fights weren't that bad, although I did have to use my frag that I would have liked to save. This room sucked. I thought I could backsmack a grunt and be safe in the tunnel. I was incorrect. Look at all the elites back in the hallway. This is ridiculous. They're lined up at a choke point like in 300. 2 yellow. Good on shields. I killed the elite from afar, then let the grunts blow each other up. That's the toughest part of the level out of the way by far. To end the level, there's a bunch of grunts and elites standing by those grunts, so clearing everything wasn't an issue. The main thing was just not moving up too fast and getting blown up. And that was Pillar of Autumn LASO. 1 level down, only 9 more to go. Level 2, Halo. This was a definite step up in difficulty from Pillar of Autumn. If you've seen a speedrun, you know instead of crossing the bridge, we do a grenade jump to skip it. This prevents the first group of enemies from spawning, including a couple of Banshees. So with this skip, the first group of enemies we fight are the ones attacking the Marines by the Forerunner structure. The shoot grunts and blow up elite strategy still works, but with this being a wide open environment, the massive chain reactions where everything in a hallway gets obliterated weren't really a thing anymore. Plus, it's harder to corner elites and punch them out when they have all sorts of space to maneuver around. But this first fight, I still made it through just fine. When the dropships started coming in, instead of running out to them like usual, I camped on top of the structure. I quickly realized that headshotting grunts without a reticle is not easy. But on ship 1, thankfully they were all grouped up and I cleared them out by getting one of the grunts. On ship 2, I tried to get a grunt as soon as he exited right by 2 elites, but I missed and that really sucked. I did manage to use them to my advantage a few seconds later. Ship 3 has a lot of grunts. They were helpful. But then ships 4 and 5 come in at the same time. The 4th ship always has 2 elites and sometimes 3, then the 5th always has another. Not to mention the other grunts and jackals on board. It wasn't too long until I was cornered. For some reason I didn't use one of my grenades. In hindsight that seems like it would have been the right thing to do, but I just tried the old melee strategy. RIP. Okay, made it back. Time to clear the first ship. You have got to be kidding me. You know what they say, though. 3rd time's the charm. They lied. For attempt 4, I did something I saw Halo completionists do, which is stand on this rock and let the Covenant group up and come to me. This strategy worked well, until I ran out of Magnum ammo. And then I ran out of grenades. All I had was an assault rifle and a dream. I tried to see if there was a way I could run back up and go to the life pod and get more ammo, but nope. So at this point, I decided to go take on the Covenant and face the inevitable. Somehow, I managed to kill one of the grunts with that AR burst, and they blew everyone up. I don't know how I got that lucky, but hey, I'm not going to complain. Then it was warthogging time, and I hogged all over the place. I expected the button for the light bridge to be dangerous, but I somehow made it through barely even being shot. By a life pod, I made sure to grab a health bag and a sniper rifle. Then it was time to save Marines. The way the Marine rescue sections at the end work is you're supposed to save the Marines, but if they're all dead, the game just tells you to move on to the next one. In a speed run, we kill the Marines ourselves to advance quicker, and here I did the same, obliterating the first group of Marines with one frag grenade. Moving on. At the rocks, I did things a little different. Instead of killing the Marines, I drove into the rocks, ran over one Marine, and picked up the other two on top of the big rock, including the Sniper Marine as passenger. The Sniper Marine does crazy amounts of damage, so he's good to have. This also removes them from the encounter, so I don't have to kill them. There's more Marines below, but the Covenant take care of them for us. At the final area, instead of charging in, I sat back at the entrance and sniped as many enemies as I could. I went until I ran out of ammo. Then after going in with the power of the Warthog Marines and more sniper ammo on the ground, this wasn't too tough to clear. And since this is the last area, once it is clear, Foehammer will come in and pick us up.
Echo 419.
Wait, search for last survivors? These are the last survivors. Oh no. Okay, so this area obviously is cleared, we don't have to worry about it. I got the all Marines are dead message from the rocks. So that means it was the first area, which I realized I didn't walk all the way down to where the Marines were to hit the trigger. So as far as the game knew, I had never been there. Because it's now the last area, I had to actually kill all the Covenant and clear it for Foehammer to come in. I'm glad I picked up the Marines earlier because these guys did a lot of the heavy lifting.
That's the last of them.
Okay, we're good. And that's Halo. That level was tough. If you've ever played this game LASO, you know the next level is even tougher. Hey, wait a second. What's that? A War Thunder logo? This video is brought to you by War Thunder, the ultimate vehicle combat game that's available now for free on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. You can choose from 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations. Stuff like biplanes and armored cars from the 1920s to the high-tech fighter jets and main battle tanks of modern day. Between these highly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects, you'll be fully immersed in War Thunder's combat. So join a worldwide 70 million player community in vehicle PvP battles today and dive right into the awesome War Thunder experience using my link in the pinned comment or video description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will get a bonus pack that includes premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium account, and more. This is only for a limited time though, so check it out quick. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. We are on to Truth and Reconciliation. This level sucked. So obviously it's just one of the tougher levels in the game, but the skulls make this one so much worse because as we all know, in this level you have the sniper instead of the magnum, which by itself isn't bad, but there are no magnums on the map at all, or rockets or shotguns. All I have for this entire mission is my sniper and assault rifle. There's ammo on the ground scattered throughout, but with all the skulls affecting ammo management is a really big problem on this level. I wanted to clear the first part as efficiently as I could, so I reset a few times until I was happy with how I killed everything. I also died because I underestimated the power of the LASO grunt. My next attempt I did a similar thing, except I survived with 1 red health and no shields. This was a problem for the next area. There's a jackal and a grunt on the hill. I sniped them and I was content to hang back and just snipe everybody. Then a couple grunts from the first area shot me in the back and killed me. Important thing here, in the first 2 levels, I was resetting upon dying like you're supposed to. But from this mission onwards, I did the save and quit method where you just save and quit, resume the playlist, and start from your last checkpoint instead of restarting the whole mission because I didn't want to completely lose my sanity. This part took me a few more tries though. Who needs a reticle to snipe? The next part of the mission is easy. There's an active camo you can grab to run past it, but this takes you to the lift, which was the hardest part of the mission by far. So while camoed, you can take out 2 jackals plus an elite, easy enough. Then there are a whole lot of grunts to kill too. You don't want to backsmack them for obvious reasons, so I ran further down and picked them off. So far, nothing too bad. Then you have to hold out against enemies as they come down the lift. On lower difficulties, there's only 4 waves. On legendary, there's 8. So you have to take out 8 waves of Covenant on LASO. You don't get a checkpoint in the middle of it either. My first attempt, I just completely skill issued it. My second attempt, a Marine threw a god-awful nade. My third attempt, I was pretty good on health and getting through it. Then there was another Marine nade that caused a chain reaction. Attempts 4, 5, and 6, I skill issued some more, until finally on attempt 7, I got into a groove a bit. My first couple attempts, I was trying to do it like a speed run where we time a frag so it explodes right when the enemies hit the lift. This doesn't really work on LASO though. What I figured out you should do is snipe at Grunt so he blows up all the enemies as soon as they come down. So 7 tries, I finally cleared the lift. The hunters weren't an issue because even on LASO there's still just hunters that die in one shot. When I got into the ship, it was time for a trick called belly skip that involves blowing up this wraith with grenades. The problem is, with my grenades, I killed a specific Marine. The Marine who says the famous line, "No covenant here, I think maybe nobody's home." If that Marine is dead, you get a checkpoint and the waves of enemies immediately start coming. So I had to run around and grab an active camo so I could keep doing the trick and hopefully not get killed. I then got killed. My second try, I pulled it off. I'm not going to explain the intricacies of this trick, I'll just let you watch it. After coming back inbounds, the next hallway was more of the same with trying to kill grunts to blow everyone up, except I did have to do something kind of risky with charging a jackal. Once you get to the hangar, in a normal speed run, we have a grenade jump to get to the bottom of the top floor, but it involves plasma nades, which because of foreign I don't have. I still obviously wanted to do a grenade jump instead of trying to do the whole hangar fight, plus all the enemies on the path after, so I had to do one of the LASO specific grenade jumps to the second floor. The problem is that I did not practice any of them prior to attempting this. It took me quite a few attempts. Let's count. I spent over half an hour in that hangar. That's time I will never get back and may even come to regret on my deathbed. Anyway, doing that grenade jump, you can walk up the rest of the second floor to the third floor with no more enemies until you get to the bridge. The bridge wasn't bad at all. I just had to take my time sniping everyone. Same thing with the next couple of hallways. Before getting to keys, there's another prison block that has a health pack and a hidden active camo, which I picked up, which let me backspack all the elites before cleaning up the grunts. Then the keys escort. I expected this to be really bad. I just took things slow instead of trying to rush. I was never in danger of dying myself, but I didn't get through it my first try because Keys is an idiot. My second try, the exact same thing happened. On attempt 3, I made it back to the bridge where you just kill 3 stealth elites. On normal legendary, you can kill them by hitting them in the upper body with a sniper, then meleeing them. That does not work on LASO, but the good old method of headshotting them does still work. Move, Marine! Because of the grenade jump I did earlier, the triggers in the hangar get messed up. So instead of having to go back to the hangar and getting the dropship and all that stuff, once all the dialogue here is finished, the level ends. And that's Truth and Reconciliation LASO. Not fun, that really sucked, and I was glad to move on. Silent Cartographer I wasn't worried about at all. I'm a speedrunner, I knew I could do this one just fine. Upon getting out of the Pelican, I turned around and went the complete opposite direction of the fight. I grabbed an overturned Warthog on the island, drove to the structure that has a Silent Cartographer, and drove the Warthog in. Usually the door coming up locks and you have to go to a different part of the island to unlock it, but you can do something called a Warthog fling instead and not have to worry about that. Then you can fall down below just right so that you don't die. Never mind, and back we go. Okay, drive in, Warthog fling, fall down below. Nice. There's one more fall I have to do now. I didn't have enough health to survive the landing, apparently. Okay, back we go. Let's get it this time. I didn't even get the Warthog fling, I'm regressing. For the next attempt, I stopped to grab an overshield outside of the facility for extra shields, and this time I managed to make it down to the bottom. Then it's a matter of getting back up. We do a grenade jump called Stick Stack in normal speedruns. It takes you all the way up. But like in Truth and Reconciliation, that requires plasma grenades that I don't have, so instead you do this. Who needs a reticle for nade jumps? That was my second try. It was easy to learn because it's the same frag throws as Stick Stack, except you fire 3 shots before the last one for timing. From there, you can grab an active camo, and running a pretty specific route, you can get all the way up still camouflaged. There were still enemies alive in the Warthog rooms. I shot a grunt and took care of that. Then it was a matter of driving back up and waiting. There's a bunch of stealth elites that spawn, so you want to wait for Foe Hammer so you can just drive past him and get in the Pelican. And that was Silent Cartographer. That was the second easiest behind only the next level. Assault on the control room. So to start, I took my time with this group of enemies. Same thing in the next room. I went around the side of the room just killing anyone in my way, and only a minute and a half into the level, I made it to the first bridge. On the first bridge, I walked into a specific spot, shot a grunt to my right, and waited for the Banshee. After the Banshee flew far enough, I crouched and turned around, watching him fly into the wall, where I then walked into the door frame and to the right, and hey, that's a free Banshee. That trick's called Banshee Grab. You just saw why. Knowing how to do that is a cheat code. Because I didn't cross the bridge, there's no more enemies the remainder of the mission. So that's literally it. I did this one my first try. Not much to it if you know Banshee Grab. Moving on. Guilty Spark is the last of the mid-game levels in the speedrun, and just like the previous two, it's really trick-heavy. So first off, at the start, we go left instead of right, and you can do a grenade jump, or you can jump on this rock and up. This lets you get to the facility way faster and without fighting any enemies. Once inside, after the elevator, I cleared the way a bit before running on the left side of the room. You're supposed to go to the right side, but you can do a grenade jump instead. I messed it up. After restarting the mission, I did it again, this time getting it. The grenade jump puts me into the floor, and I can then do very careful platforming. By crouching and then uncrouching and hitting forward at the same time, you can bounce across the gap onto another solid part of the ceiling, and then run into this room that you're not supposed to be able to get into until after the flood shows up. This is called reveal skip because we're skipping the flood reveal. Spoiler alert. From here, we can just run to the next elevator. After this elevator, I grabbed an active camo and did a jump called Camo Jumo. It used to be called Camo Jump until one of the old Halo speedrunners like 10 years ago misspelled it in a chat. So it's still called Camo Jumo today and a continual roast of that person. Doing that jump lets you run through most of the rest of the facility while camouflaged. When I got to the last room, I decided to take my time killing enemies instead of rushing through like in a speedrun. Then I did an identical jump to Camo Jumo to get to the other side. This avoids the light bridge, which upon activating spawns a bunch of enemies in the elevator room. And just like that, we're outside. Once outside, you run until you get to the last structure where Spark and a couple Sentinels spawn. On Legendary, the level end trigger is tied to these Sentinels dying. Once they die, a timer starts and the level ends. My strategy was to hide and wait for the flood to kill them. So I hid, and hid some more, and the level wasn't ending, which told me one of the Sentinels must be stuck in a tree. Like a cat. I ran out of my hiding spot, and sure enough, he was up in the tree not doing anything, but I successfully baited him out. I went back into hiding and nearly died, but that's 343 Guilty Spark. I was feeling really good after that. Unfortunately, the next level was the toughest in the entire game. After the last 3 levels, I was feeling really confident. I hadn't planned on doing more levels that night, but I decided to give Library a shot. And oh my god, was it awful. You can get to the first door easily. You push up to Guilty Spark, then do a grenade jump that lets you get to the other side of the wall towards the center, then you can walk back a bit and trigger Guilty Spark forward again. There's 2 carriers and 2 combat forms that are pre-spawn, but otherwise this skips the trigger to spawn the rest of the flood before the first door. So far so good. If you go left instead of right after the door, there's a hidden shotgun and health pack that you want to grab. And thus began the toughest part not only of the level, but of the entire game. This always sucks. At first I was trying to go slow and take my time, but that wasn't really working. So I changed strategies and decided to try it like we do in the speedrun and run through everything, being sure to melee flood as I was going through. Here there's a cool jump with the overshield, and since you do the grenade jump while the overshield is still charging, you don't lose any of it from the jump. This part was really sketch with all the carriers, but I made it somehow. And this is the home stretch. See if I make it. So clearly the right strategy there is to just run through everything instead of staying back. You have got to be fucked. Surely this won't take me that many more tries, right? That sucked. That part alone makes me never want to play this on LASO again. The second floor starts with a door you're supposed to hold out at, but if you just turn around after hitting the trigger, no more flood spawn and you can just wait it out. The rest of the second floor, and really the whole level, was really boring. Basically, all I did was sit back, clear waves of flood, and take advantage of ammo glitching where you can backpack reload, pick up a weapon off the ground, and when you pick up your old weapon after waiting long enough, it'll be fully loaded without lowering the ammo counter, effectively letting you have infinite ammo. With how many enemies spawn, plus the skulls relating to ammo, I don't know how this level would be possible without ammo glitching or just running through stuff and getting extremely lucky. I did still have plenty of deaths throughout because all it takes is one carrier sneaking up on you or a grenade chain reacting and you're blown to bits. At the end of this hallway that looks identical to the rest of the hallways because we're on on library, there's always a flood who spawns with a rocket launcher, so I grabbed it and had shotgun rocket launcher the rest of the mission. After the third elevator, I had 1 red health and a dream, so I let the sentinels take care of the flood for me. Then a bit further ahead, there's another door you're supposed to hold out at called Dark Door. In a normal speed run, we would skip past it using a trick called a flood bump, but you can't really on LASO. So once again, I hit the trigger for it, then ran away and hid. After Dark Door, instead of running how you're supposed to because there's a rocket flood, I ran all the way around the ring. I did have to save and quit doing this though because I'm stupid. There's another holdout section later on where the door doesn't open for 90 seconds, but you can literally just hide in the corner and the flood won't see you. Same thing again with the door on the 4th floor. On the final door of the mission, I grenade jumped through, ran around the side, then to the index. I will never play CE LASO again because of this level. It sucked. Normally on Tuba Trails, you spawn with a plasma pistol, but you don't here because of the foreign skull, but strangely you do still get plasma nades, so that's what I killed the sentinels with. In the next room, I just chucked frag grenades.
And we'll cut through a number of primary systems. We need to trigger a detonation on a large scale, however. Starships.
At the door to the outside, there's a deload you can do by pressing the button twice with specific timing that makes it so only 2 elites and 2 jackals that are pre-spawned are outside, but none of the other enemies spawn. So after clearing out these enemies, getting to the Banshee is super easy because there is nobody in your way. You do have to fly back up and hit the door button again to spawn everyone in though. Afterwards, if you've seen a speedrun of this level, you can probably guess what I did. I flew the Banshee into the first generator hallway, then after hitting it, I parked the other Banshee outside, did a fling out of bounds and some weird platforming, and now I'm in a Banshee that can fly through walls. I'm not going to go too much into detail on what's happening here, but basically you just have to fly through all the level triggers and load the sections back in. And yeah, I can fly through everything.
A few moments later.
We're now almost all the way to the end of the level. You're supposed to be on foot here, but yeah, we're not. The ending is just a matter of flying, hitting a couple more triggers, not getting blown up, and ending the mission. So you may have expected that one to be tough, but that was one of the easier ones for sure. We're on to keys. Once again, this one was easy. So there's a manipulation you can do on the cutscene and afterwards to cause the first flood to spawn to be a reviver. Meaning after he goes down, he'll get back up after a couple seconds. If you played Halo CE, you've seen this happen. You kill a flood and then he gets back up. We can use that to our advantage by bringing him back to where we spawned, knock him down, and use him reviving to push us through the wall. This puts us basically where Keys is with all the enemies deactivated. After killing the frozen enemies, we can activate the cutscene. After the cutscene, this ending is kind of sketch.
Stay and find a ride.
When you get in the Banshee, it's invincible and the level is on a timer so you can fly around wherever you want. Overall, another easy mission. On to the last level of Halo CE. Alright, the Maw, let's get this one rolling and finish this game up. I died. After successfully getting around the corner, I waited for a checkpoint in this spot. This is because the Flood Bash opened the door, which, you guessed it, I can use to get pushed out of bounds. This platforming is really tough. Most of the ceiling is wide open and you'll fall right through, or you can fall off the map. CE jumping isn't the best either, and you can slide on some of these surfaces and it'll eat your jump. It's not my favorite platforming. But by doing it correctly, this lets me come back in bounds all the way after the cryo room. So I don't even have to watch the bridge cutscene. In this hallway, I grenaded the elite, ran away, then bolted to a side hallway that would let me come back behind all the hunters and action going on. I did this, obviously to not die, but also because I wanted to keep as much of my overshield as possible. One thing you may not know in the reactor room is that when the sentinels spawn in, you can insta-kill them just by running to the other side.
That should be enough to trigger a wildcat explosion of the engines.
I don't know why this works, but it works. After taking out the third reactor, I discovered I was out of ammo. So I had to run all the way back to the armory for more rockets and battle the camo flood when I got there. Alright, but now we're back and I can take out this last reactor. What just happened? Okay, now I got the last reactor. This elevator is really volatile and packed with explosives, so I kept my distance. Inching forward on foot. Okay, we're fine. I can grab a health pack. Now it's Warthog time. The Warthog run is easy. I did take damage throughout, so I stopped to make a detour along the way. Sorry, Thirsty Grump, but I needed shields. As we all know, any run is invalid without doing this. Then it's barrel time.
Move! We need to get aboard now!
And that's Halo Combat Evolved on LASO. I never want to play that again because that was the opposite of fun, but at least now I can say that I've done it. I'll probably do LASO on the other games at some point, but yeah, don't expect me to ever do like a LASO speedrun or anything. That's not happening. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to play it for free on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation by using my link in the pinned comment or video description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will also receive a bonus pack across all platforms that has multiple premium vehicles among other cool things. It's only for a limited time though, so be sure not to miss it. And if you like this video, be sure to click the one on screen to see me beat CE Legendary without firing a single shot. I'll catch you next time.